Hello everybody and welcome to today's Splatoon video. It's more like a podcast since we'll be going over the story of the game, me and Asuna. This was recorded pretty soon after the story was completed, it just took me forever to actually get around to editing it. This is also before any post-launch story information was revealed, like the deep cut interviews showing that Fry has an extended family. And there won't be too much to actually see during this video since it's mostly just us talking about it. I think I edited in like a couple pictures near the start and that's about it. If I forget anything that I should have put in the video and I forgot to actually put it on screen, just comment it and I'll put it in the description of what I was referring to. Lastly, before we begin, I want to let you all know that I will be streaming the Zelda Splatfest, and on my Let's Play channel, you can see me play through the entire story mode. That's right, I just uploaded the first episode of a 4-part series I go through the story mode of Splatoon 3. There's an ongoing gag where at the end of every level I make some kind of weird political statement because it reminded me of Metal Gear Solid, just like the whole framing of the victory screens in the story mode for this game. So I hope after this video is done, you go check that one out. This has been your spoiler warning, and now I hope you enjoyed this weird little podcasting I tried out. Ta-ta! We're going to start with a little bit before the story mode. That's important because you don't just start off in hero mode immediately. So what did you think of the tutorial? Like the setting of the tutorial and like how it looked before you actually got to Splatsville and the little cutscene that plays? Did it get you like hyped up for the game or anything?
Yeah, I don't think the tutorial got me hype as much as, like, the prospect of actually playing. The tutorial was pretty basic, the environment wasn't super noteworthy. Well, I mean, initially, like, whenever, like, your character first moves and you, like, can see more of the Badlands it is, but then once you get in that little, like, enclosed space where you get your weapon, it was, like, s more standard-ish, I
Yeah.
guess.
I like how it took place in the middle of nowhere versus like the back alleys of Inkopolis, like in the other games, or like just like another area in the deep sea metro.
I'm really sad we didn't get to see more of the Splatlands,
I
though.
hope so too. I really do because that little area was like exciting looking back upon it because it's like you're just in the middle of nowhere. You can see the Eiffel Tower in the background. For some reason, in where Japan is in our modern day, there's that little gate you come up to, and you super jump to like the city or like the metro, I guess, where you take a stop at. But like the whole tutorial is just like in the middle of nowhere, and it's like really cool atmosphere. Also, I thought it was interesting that they start that in the Nintendo Direct when they first revealed Splatoon 3, you have the tri-stringer in the tutorial, but in the actual game you get the Splatter Shot Junior. So the fact that the small fry finds your gun for you is like a little hint for what he's gonna be doing in the actual game, which I thought was cute. Alrighty, on to the actual game. After the tutorial, we got Splatsville. It's our first location. It's located in the heart of the Splatlands. It's the new hangout spot for all the coolest of Squid youth. Its popularity was boosted after the Chaos vs. Order Splatfest that happened 5 years before the events of the game. It's known as the City of Chaos. It's crowded and a bit more poor than the usual Inkopolis affair, but just as loved. I really like Splatsville compared to Inkopolis, honestly. It's so chaotic and it feels lived in, and like the people there really enjoy being there with each other. Maybe that's just because there's so many new animations for all the other players when they're in your lobby, and there's like the staff members around and all the little jellies. But it does feel so different from Inkopolis in Splatoon 1 and 2.
Yeah, and being bigger helps a lot because it actually
Yeah.
feels like, somewhere that exists rather than just kind of like this sectioned off area for some reason.
Oh yeah, Splatoon 2 had that problem in like Spade. It's literally just a hallway, and then you're like, go fight or go fight with Grisco or go to the Octo expansion. Those are your 3 options. I love going up to like that little area of the ramp, and it's like you can see like you can hear like kids singing. It's like they're horrible at singing, but like it's kids, you know. They're like ba 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 ba. I love going up there all the time. Sometimes little buddy spawns up there too, and he falls asleep. I'm always worried he's gonna fall off the ledge and just die and eat shit. But you know, all right. Splatlands, located on the western side of Inkadia, is the Splatlands. A harsh desert environment, it has altered the Inklings, Octolings, and general populace's appearance compared to the more contemporary industrialized locations in Inkadia, such as the Inklings turf. So according to the map, the Splatlands is like in the Octo turf, the Octarian turf, where where the Great Turf Wars took place, and then the Inklings got the good shit. The Octarians are kind of forced underground. So I guess Splatsville and most of the areas in the game are Octarian rather than Inktarian. I don't know how you describe the Inklings, but I thought that was interesting based off the world map. Have you seen that image?
I've seen the one you showed me, but I
Yeah,
don't know if that's the same one you're referring to.
I'll pull it up really quick. This is the image I'm talking about. I think it's really interesting that there's just that like they say Octling Turf Wasteland and then Inkling Turf Haven. It's like, so this whole time during Splatoon 1 and 2, we've had the Inkling perspective of things. And they always say, like, oh, Octarians live underground and they have nowhere to live. But this whole time on the Octoling side, there's been it's not just the Octolings are funneled underground, it's that there's this whole society over these mountains in this like desert where just Octolings just live.
I don't know about that. I think it's just more so like, because I'm pretty sure the Octolings do like recon out like on the surface, but since it's a wasteland, I doubt that it's really hospitable. So they probably do mostly just live underground, and the outside is just sort of like where they like recon and kind of patrol and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess map is a little confusing if you just focus on the top right section, because I know there's like it says up there in the upper left, it says like border zone, outer Splatlands, desert. I guess wasteland and desert is considered different.
I'd imagine the desert has at least some form of like hospitable land, because you know Splatsville, but like there's probably like oases and there's probably some animals and whatnot, whereas the wasteland, like you can see it, part of it has the great turf war craters, so it's like those weapons probably ravage the land a lot to where it's like not really usable. The Inkling turf is probably just like where the greenery starts. Like, oh, they kind of like probably patrol that or something along those lines.
I wonder then if Splatsville and the Splatlands in general are just kind of like a neutral zone where Inklings and Ocklings have always been just chill with each other, and they're just so far removed that nobody ever heard of them until like Splatoon 3. And after that, Chaos just ordered Splatfest, brought people over there and in mass. I don't know. It's just interesting thing about how things are so different now when we're so far removed from Inkopolis.
It's also really curious how they have that highway or interstate or whatever going straight through Octoling territory. It's like how is that a thing? Like,
yeah, especially from what we've seen in the story modes, it's always like it seems like Inklings and Ocklings are like at war with each other, even to this day, or at least in secret. Also, Agent 4's home is shown, which I always thought was really interesting. It's like, why? Why did they show that? I guess it just shows that Agent 4 is so preoccupied with their normal life that they had to drive all the way or like, get all the way to Inkopolis, play a couple matches of Turf War, and then come back home. And that's why they didn't know about Marie or the Squid Sisters at all. The crater. Now we're getting closer to story mode, finally. A nearby crater to Splatsville. It has the upside down Eiffel Tower, the tutorial area, and the start of hero mode. You meet Craig here. Just Craig, who believes the Octarians are behind the great Zapfish is appearing again, and assigns you the role of Agent 3. Fuzzy ooze is spreading on the catwalks, and there are kettles into Octarian domes. So what do you think about the crater tutorial area, or kind of like prologue area?
Very much in line with previous story modes, a lot of stuff we've seen before, and I mean, I know that's the point. They definitely knew the vibe they were going for with that, where it's like, yeah, this just feels like another Splatoon campaign.
A parody.
Like retreading old ground. We have all it's almost like going like with like a Mario game or something as an example, where it's like, oh yep, Bowser's kidnapped Peach again, we're gonna save the princess again. It's almost like they're poking fun at that, I guess, in a way. Guys, get the great Zapfish back again.
You're just thrown into it, like almost no lore, just like, oh, you're Agent 3 now, go.
Yeah, it's very similar to the first game where she's like, yeah, hello, you're recruited now.
You know the song that plays when you're in there that goes like, oh.
Yeah, that weird ass song.
People used to make fun of Splatoon for something that has delay llama in it, which is this really old software. Take a listen to this. This is a joke post, but this is the software they're talking about.
Oh my.
So they would say, oh, that sounds like Splatoon music. That sounds like Splatoon music.
I honestly was about to ask like if that actually was a Splatoon song, and then I'm like, wait, no, it's not.
So I guess the developers finally caught wind of that, and they're like, you know what? Let's fucking make a song with this fucking annoying ass dude. It's a really old piece of like musical software, so like they're probably like, we're gonna pull a fast one on them. We're gonna use the meme. So after you go through like the very overly the extremely padded tutorial like Splatoon has had before, and you get to the end, you fight Octavio, and he reveals that, oh, I don't know what's going on either, and then you fall into Alterna, the secret dome. You fall into defeating Octavio, and where the game's real plot begins. While appearing as an artificial snowscape surrounded by melted water, it's actually the last bastion of humanity revealed through the Alterna logs. Most areas are now blocked by fuzzy ooze. We'll go over the history of it later, but when I first landed in Alterna, I saw it from the Nintendo Direct, but like the music is so freaky when you first hear it because it's like not it's very like broken and it sounds like it's really distant, like it's being barely played over some like broken speakers or something like that. And the vibe, like the general environment, it just feels like off compared to other Splatoon stuff, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's been a while since I heard it, so I don't fully remember it, but I do remember it kind of making me be like, whoa, this is a lot more serious than I was expecting.
Yeah, once you get the golden disc, it sounds like an actual song, and it still has that weird futuristic tone.
I remember the first like comparison I kind of got when I heard this was I got like near vibes.
A lot of people say it's like near, or if it's like there's one other indie game I heard about that people it reminded them about, but I don't know off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen. It reminds me of these games that are like very ambient and very isolated in tone. Also, I like how the little buddy wakes you up. I know they probably just use it as a food source, but I thought that was cute. I also thought the whole visual of it was very dreamlike because you have these little islands covered in water and then a big rocket in the middle. And the sky is blue, but it's LCD. It's not real. It felt like you just fell into a dream. You know, all the other levels in Splatoon, they feel like, well, video game worlds, but this one just felt like ethereal almost, you know, like it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel logical, say, as I am comparing it to literal floating islands. Alright, we're going to go over and switch to the characters, and we're going to talk about them in depth. We're going to talk about what they do in the story mode, like from like point A to point B, minus one character who the final boss is, so we're going to start talking about spoilers. Like, I guess spoilers for characters. It's going to get spoilery. So if you want to back out now, this is your last warning. So we're going to start with Agent 3 and the Small Fry. I put them together because Agent 3 doesn't have a lot of character, neither does the Small Fry. So, according to a Nintendo article, Agent 3 was a normal person who made money by salvaging Sky with their Small Fry. They got wrapped up in the events of hero modes. Silent, focused, and often making cool poses. They don't emote much outside of those moments. Rarely do they appear surprised in the cutscenes, often having a neutral face. Despite getting the information of their species' creation, they keep it to themselves. They feel rowdy and rough compared to the other Splatoon protagonists. Like, they don't, their silence isn't like an awkward, funny joke. It's just like they actually are not saying anything to anybody pretty much the whole thing, other than like, you know, a nod maybe.
They feel like a sort of middle ground between like all the other Asians, almost like a combination of all of them, because like canonically 3 is like the original 3 is like, you know, the most serious, like very stoic, and then 4 is like the polar opposite, very much like happy-go-lucky and bouncy and just like carefree, and then 8 is more reserved but also like very
Introspective.
very in awe of the world and like very curious, almost like a puppy, I guess, kind of like, but
Analytic.
maybe, yeah.
I feel like I like Agent 3 a lot. I like how their amiibo that's coming up soon is gonna have a delinquent school outfit. I'm just looking forward to that. The Octoling is coming with a taekwondo outfit, and the Small Fry is coming with a Mad Max-esque outfit, which is what I was worried they were gonna come with. That's what I worried the City of Chaos was gonna be like. But I'm so glad it is what it is. I forgot to say this earlier, but if I had known we would have gotten the Splatsville during the Chaos vs. Order Splatfest, I would have gone Pearl's team instead of Marina's. Sorry. Sorry, Marina, if you ever hear this.
It makes me wonder if the idols were already set in stone before the outcome was decided, or if that was also influenced by Chaos vs. Order.
When it comes to the Alterna logs not being shared with any of the other characters, I thought that was really interesting that Agent 3 decides to consciously not give those logs to anybody else. I know, like, Orca says, like, you can't do it, but let's be real here, after the end of the game, they could have easily done it. They could have just walked out with the Alterna logs. But they never do. At least, not yet, if they are going to do it in the story. So I thought that was really interesting that they don't just give these logs to the new Squid Week Splatoon, or Deep Cut. They keep it to themselves. Maybe they don't like authority. The Small Fry probably just sees you as a food source and not much else, but they seem to enjoy sticking around with you, making sure you're okay, and I like that a lot. Every animal, every quote-unquote pet in Splatoon is actually a symbiotic relationship that we've seen, and we'll go over that a little bit more later with a specific case, but this is no exception. The small fry wants food as we learn later through the secret scrolls, and it's gonna get food through Agent 3. Craig Cuttlefish, the old leader of the Squid Beak Splatoon, still a crazed old chap. He gets you into trouble and is captured almost immediately into the story. He seems to forgive Octavio, or at least believe in him in the post-game. He's dehydrated by Mr. Grizz's plan. Not much to say about Craig's characterization or presence in this game. He's just captured the whole time, like in Splatoon 1. And I saw him on the nameplates of their players, like as a squid. So that ruined it for me a little bit, not gonna lie. I saw a lot of the story spoilers were shown through me through stickers and badges or whatever. But when I saw that, I thought he was gonna turn to like a Kraken, you know, like in Splatoon 1. When he got dehydrated, I was like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, same.
I was like, oh, I just got like a part of the game spoiled. He's gonna turn into a Kraken. I'm gonna like, oh, that sucks. He's gonna like
He's
spin
gonna go
into
super mode.
No, he does absolutely the fuck not.
He goes the opposite.
He goes like plastic wrapper mode, man, in the breeze, in the breeze. God, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm glad Captain's tears can revive people, because oh my god, what the fuck? Ugh.
Yeah, that shit grossed me out too. I'm like, ugh.
Fucking disgusting, man. This is nasty. It's nasty. DJ Octavio. The DJ as he is. After being attacked by Agent 3, he says he doesn't know what happened to his Octarian army. He appears at the end to help stop Mr. Grizz. DJ Octavio should have been there for the whole story. He should have been there. He would have given so much perspective on Octarian stuff. He could have banded with Agent 1 and Agent 2 the whole game. He could have been arguing with them the whole time. And then, he could have been like nicer over time and then been like, we gotta save Cuttlefish, even though I don't like him, Baka. He wouldn't have admitted it, but he'd be like, we gotta save him. Because we have to, and I don't like him at all. He feels like a wasted. He feels like a huge missed opportunity because because it's not about Octolings versus Inklings for this game. It's about us versus a fucking bear. The new Squid Beak Splatoon, which is Agent 1, Agent 2, and the Captain. Agent 1 and 2 return as they are and are accompanied by the Captain. Callie is less mature, quicker to express herself, and hyperactive. She has a constant friendly nature towards others. Marie, despite being the quieter of the cousins, tends to talk more, as she also speaks for the Captain. She's analytical, sometimes cynical, but she's really just relaxed and easygoing yet careful. The Captain is a smelly inkling who is hyper-focused on... I'm not joking.
What the fuck?
Redo! What?
No, that's the take. That's it. Because that's genuine. I thought you made that up.
No.
I thought you just insert that. Like, the Captain's smelly. They're smelly. I don't like.
No, they always talk about how Marie talks about Captain is smelly in Splatoon 2, and they're wearing like rags. Wearing like the Inkling Boys shirt.
Smelly part.
She talks about how Agent 4 has so much better hygiene than Agent 3.
Shit.
Alright. Captain is a smelly inkling who is hyper-focused on being the best soldier they can. While their youthful nature sometimes shows, they tend to focus on giving battle advice and encouragement to Agent 3. They are extremely dedicated to their allies, crying when they see Craig being dehydrated. Very strong and very shy. I bet a lot of people are sad for some reason that they can't play as their Splatoon 1 character anymore. I'm sorry, but that motherfucker's smelly. I'm being honest with y'all. They lost their freshness. They became stanky. They're a good kind of stanky, clearly. They know what to do. They can fight. They sprain their tentacle and they go ouchie ouch, which is adorable. But, you gotta give the new kids some credit, too. Agent 3 does a lot of work compared to the Captain. The Captain gets their cool moment with, like, cutting the thing up, which I love that cutscene. I really love how... I think this is, like, an actual part of the cutscene and not an edit. During that cutscene, after they cut up the rocket, they fall over, and you can hear them, like, fall. You hear, like, a little... when they land in the snow. That was cute. That was really cute. I'm looking forward to future stuff, to see if they bring back more agents and have them do silly shit like that. What did you think about the whole new Squid Beak Splatoon in general? Did you have anything else you wanted to say? Add on to that?
Well, one thing I remember, like, really liking, that stood out was, that whenever, like, you're on an island randomly, sometimes you'd be able to talk to Callie and she'd be like, guess who has Power X for you? This girl!
Yeah, they're doing things with you. They're not just sitting there and just doing nothing all game.
Also, whenever you were getting the pieces for that thing or whatever, like the treasures. I thought they were gonna make like a helicopter and like fly over
Me
there.
too. I think in the first fight against Fry, I'm just like, is this a helicopter piece? Yeah.
Because they look like a rotor, like the blades on it looked like, I thought they were like rotors, but no.
The huge head trimmer. Orca, the archival system of humanity's history during their tenure at Alterna. It scans and gives Agent 3 the Alterna logs. It wrote said logs. Orca could have been used. Orca could have been used more in the story. It could have had like maybe some remnants of a personality of humanity. Maybe it could have had a little bit more to it. Maybe I could have shown the last recordings of humanity, played them back for the Inklings, but it didn't. It was strictly just for plot progression and to give you Alterna logs. And even though I feel like there could have been potential there, I don't feel like much was missed by not expanding upon that potential.
It feels weird that they sided with Grizz though, seemingly.
Kinda, yeah. You know, they
like you'd think they would sort of be on more of a captain, like either they'd be on more of like a sympathetic side towards the Inklings and Octolings, or they'd be more like Tartar, or like a more pacifist Tartar, where it's like instead where Tartar was like, oh, you're not worthy, instead Orca's thinking like, oh, maybe they are, not sure yet, because I just met one, but they seem intelligent. I don't know, it just feels weird for them to be on Grizz's side, because like Grizz isn't gonna bring back humans, she's gonna make everything furry.
They also could have gone for a self-preservation angle where they know Grizz is going to destroy everything, so they could have gone in both parties' ways, but, nothing gained, nothing lost in my eyes, at least. Deep Cut, which is Fry, Shiver, and Big Man. They're getting their own sections, don't worry, everybody in the comments, want to see them all. The idol group of the game, based upon classic Japanese, Indian, and Brazilian influences and culture. Their secondary job being thieves for the people of Splatsville. They fight Agent 3 Splatsville style, with boss fights to show what they're made of, and get KO'd each time. They respect Agent 3 for whooping their butts, and realize that the new Sweet Big Splatoon are actually good people. They beg for Marie to be their boss, and come around to save the day at the end. Side note before we go to the actual individual character descriptions. In Japan, they ask for her to be the big sister of the group. They don't call her a boss. I understand why they changed it, because localization things, but yeah. It just changed context a little bit. Just a little bit. Alright.
Yeah, it makes the Japanese version seem more like they've bonded more, whereas in English it seems more like business.
I wouldn't say bonded, but I wouldn't say it's anything
Well, I mean,
removed
like
from
the
being
big
a bond.
sister of the group. I mean, like that's sister, that's family. So it's like, I don't know. It feels more personal that way.
Maybe
With that
maybe the wording does, but it's still kind of like the whole like we look up to Marie because she's so cool kind of thing. Just two different ways of saying it. All right, now onto the individuals. Shiver, Octoling of Deep Cut, based upon ancient Japanese warrior Lady Beauty, has an androgynous appearance which caused a lot of controversy. She prefers to act superior with her classic oh ho 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 laughing, but it's lost pretty fast with her wild side showing when she fights or gets excited. She also seems to have an obsessive side, some people relating to ADHD, as seen in the Anarchy Splatcast. I liked her a lot. She was funny. She was ridiculously, theatric. Oh yeah, she also has a master Megalodon, I guess that taught her or something. I don't get the relationship, they don't explain it at all. I just know she has, sharks flying around her in her sunken scroll. She's kind of like the Splatana user between the Deep Cut members. Well, Fry is the Tri-Stringer user from their boss fights, at least. That's how I can interpret from their boss fights.
And Big Man can't use weapons because he's big.
I wonder if Big Man does play Turf War with them, but maybe we can get to that at the end. Focusing on Shiver just for now. A lot of people didn't realize that she was a girl because she had an androgynous look, which to me I don't really mind. She's a girl, but she's androgynous. Some people have a problem with that, either because she's not fully non-binary or that she's not feminine. And to me, I think she's cool. I think she looks fucking sick. I like her one eye covered. I like the fact that she doesn't really have a mask like all the other characters in the game. I like her big round nose. I like when she sticks her tongue out when she's going wild. She is so much fun. She's also really pale. Just not really a factor in anything noteworthy. She's just pale. When a lot of characters in Splatlands are tan because of the sun. Okay, so Shiver. Do you have anything to say about Shiver?
I shot her shark in the face a lot. It was funny.
When you get the upgraded hero shot and go after her with it, it just ruins the boss fight. You kill that shark like this, it just falls apart. Fry. She is much more consistent between her off and on of camera persona compared to Shiver, being playful, expressive, and aggressive at all times. She represents the general vibe around the Splatlands, while also having an air of regality in the way she presents herself during the Anarchy Splatcast and in Splatfests. Like a friendly princess. She's part of the Onaga clan. Fights with eels. I love Fry so much. Because when you get the game at the initially, you think she's like, she's kind of like the secondary character to the group where she like talks second, and while she does all the introductions and all that. Kind of like how Pearl Marina, Pearl was like the one in your face, and Marina was the one alongside her. It wasn't really, that's a very simplification of it. But Marina's the more shy one, Pearl's the more aggressive one. And in Splatoon 1, Callie's energetic, Maria's laid back. So when you get Splatoon 3, initially you're probably gonna think, oh, well, Fry is like the secondary one. No, she's not. She's the actual leader of the group behind the scenes during their thieving opportunities. On stage, she's a little bit less talkative than Shiver during the Splatcast. But when they sing and off stage during performances and in the story mode, Fry is the leader. Fry is the absolute leader of the group. And I love her personality so much. She's so fun. She's quick. She's energetic. I love her. I love Fry. Oh, she's my favorite. What'd you think of Fry?
I'm the opposite. Fry didn't leave much of an impression on me, but she's cool.
Aww. I'm sad to hear that.
I don't know. I'm more of a Squid Sisters and Off the Hook fan.
Fair enough. I also love that she's actually like she's part of this clan that has been moving eels for centuries or whatever, and she's just really like fancy, but also she acts the way she does, despite probably being like a princess or some shit. Like I love her so much. She's like a constant contrast to how you expect her to be. In terms of her backstory to her actual personality and her actions, and that's part of why I love her so much. And I love her singing voice too. Her and Shiver, they sing like, I like how Shiver has a deep voice and she has a high pitched voice, and they bounce off each other really well. I forgot to mention when we were talking about Shiver, but yeah, I love how their voices work together. When they were singing live the other day, it was amazing. Oh my god, they sang with Big Man. Oh, they can't harmonize together like perfect music. I love them. Okay, about our boss fight. It was something, I guess. I like
boss
how
fight just reminded me of like the Octo Stamp boss with a few extra attacks.
Really, because other than the Octo Stamp being there, I didn't think about that at all. Or the Octo Stomp. What specifically reminded you of the Octo Stomp?
Well, I mean, mostly just the shape of the boss, because it was like, just big square, and she's on top of it, and I don't know, the boss didn't, like, Shiver and the other boss, Big Man, they stood out to me a lot. I mean, Big Man obviously, but Fry, I don't know her name, Fry,
Oh,
yeah, hers didn't really stick out to me at all, honestly.
I don't know. I liked it. It was a torrent of eels. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean the eel thing was alright, but
That's their home. It was an Octo Stomp like shell. That's their home, and they come out when she plays her music. Starts dancing.
yeah, I don't know. I just found the other two more iconic, and I have nothing against Fry, but
You gotta learn her name, dude. You gotta learn it.
I always get him. Is it Fry?
It's Fry.
Okay. Because the thing is, the first character named Fry that I know of is from Assassin's Creed. So like every time I say Fry, like until now, that was the only association I had with that name. And that character from Assassin's Creed sucks. So
Okay. Here's how you remember her name. It's not Ice. It's Shiver. When you get cold, you shiver. It's not fire, it's fry. When you're on fire, you fry.
I I guess.
Just remember that. You gotta remember, if it's not ice, it's shiver. It's not fire, it's fry. You gotta remember her. You gotta put some respect on her name. Time to talk about the tertiary member of Deep Cut, Big Man.
The true leader of the bunch. You know him well. He's finally back.
It's the wrong reference, wrong series, wrong character. Same developer.
No, it's the right everything.
Manta Ray of Deep Cut, based upon Brazilian culture, which can be heard in his music and general style when he sings, with chanting and air horns and the specific instruments he uses. He is part of the Manta clan, and he is part of the Manta clan, and seems to be some sort of nobleman, as he is far less assertive than his peers in Deep Cut, leading to humor with him and the others. I love Big Man. He is so out of his element at all times, and his friends do not fit him at all, and that makes them all lovely. They really do feel like a great group of friends, because you got like these two rambunctious, crazy scrappers that are actually like, you know, one's a warrior, one's a princess behind the scenes, but they still are, you know, like hooligans in their mannerisms. And then you get this dude who's basically a reserved, almost like he feels like a political person. Like, okay, hi, I'm very kind and soft spoken.
Here's my presidential wave.
Presidential sweep, big man sweep, big man sweep. Everyone says big man sweep. He's great. I love how gentle he is compared to his peers. He's just like, he's not a fighter. He's like, I don't want to fight. Okay, I guess we're fighting. He doesn't know what's going on with the other two. He doesn't really get it. He also makes the beats to their music while Shiver and Fry sing, which I can totally see happening. They do not seem the kind of people Shiver and Fry do not seem the kind of people who can sit down and focus on actually setting up the notes for the music and all the instruments. They just want to get in there and do it, you know? Big Man seems the kind of guy who would be like, okay, let's figure out how we can incorporate all of our backgrounds into this.
The most I have to say is about his boss fight, but I don't know if we're there yet.
Oh, if you want to move to the boss fight, go ahead. How about you describe the boss fight? Holy shit, that was so loud.
Second best boss in Splatoon history because of that.
Because it's a Mario reference.
But it's such a good one, though.
Yeah, but
I'm not even like a huge Mario fan. Like, I like Mario. I don't like Mario more than Splatoon, but shit, good, man. Like, people have made the Mario Sunshine and Splatoon, like, you know, kind of like comparison since its inception. So seeing it finally get like so much acknowledgement is just fucking awesome.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought it was amusing, and I thought being referenced was really funny, and I enjoyed it. It was the first boss fight I noticed, because I did Fry, then Big Man, then Shiver as my boss route. I noticed that the Deep Cut logo was in his ink. I didn't notice that beforehand. I was like, oh, there it is. And Fry's, I just didn't see it at all. I kind of saw it in Shiver as I was looking for it the whole time. I don't think I commented on it when I was playing.
Oh, I didn't notice that at all. I was too busy focused on the fact that it was literally the same exact ink colors as the Mario Sunshine boss.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Yellow and green, I think.
Every part of it is the same. Like the way he turns into, you know, the like 2D, like very flat, like almost phantom or whatever of the manta ray, and then how it turns blue and the ink color and just everything, the way it splits, it's so good. The reason I say it's the second best in my opinion is because, well, Octo expansion. Even though it's not really a boss, but I don't care.
You could say you like the Agent 3 fight, you know, that was a real boss fight right there.
Oh, I guess in that sense, Big Man's third favorite then, because my number one would be either the Nil statue or Agent 3, and then number 2 would be the whatever the other one isn't. I could probably just repeat myself a bunch of times about the Big Man fight and just keep saying the same thing because I love it.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I love crossover references in games.
Clearly, for reference, she talks about Smash all the time. All the time.
All the time.
You love talking about Smash. You love that series. It's okay.
I also just wish Splatoon would lean more into crossovers too. Like, you know, kind of how Bayonetta does, where she's like, oh, you can wear like, Fox's outfit or Link's outfit or whatever. I wish Splatoon did that. Be really cool to see.
Give
Like
it
the
time.
Mario Inklings or Legend of Zelda Inklings and Octolings, and
Give it time. I'm sure we'll start seeing shit like that in the game.
I hope so. I mean, it's the perfect. I've told you before, it's the perfect IP for it because it's all about fashion. It's all about what you're wearing, the clothes you're wearing. So it's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They could even like put specific attributes onto each clothes that like fit, like where it's like, oh, for the Mario gear, it like how you told me certain gear has like a higher chance of getting like certain abilities. You could have like the Mario gear kind of focused on like movement and like super jumping and stuff like
Oh,
that. Whereas like
that's a brand thing. So the Amiibo brand
yeah,
doesn't
but
have any
like the Mario
preference.
stuff could just be its own brand. They could
I guess they could do that. It'd be a little odd they
I
did that
mean
just for Mario, but I could see it happening.
they should do for like all the crossover ones. Just make like an exclusive brand because it wouldn't really make sense. Like oh yeah, this like group of Inklings or whatever just randomly make Mario's outfit.
I mean,
Splatoonified.
Amiibo gear exists for a reason, just for that. For all the
Yeah.
weird, wacky gear, it's all just Amiibo. Oh yeah, Big Min's our first encounter with a completely normal creature that fights with Inklings on their own terms, but isn't a machine. He's a natural being. He's not covered in ink. Well, I mean, technically he is, but you know what I mean. He's not completely lathered in ink from an external source like we see in the machines, or it could be interpreted like that. He's just a creature that also fights with ink. Well, he fights with toxins. I believe that's how they explain it. That he fights with his toxins, and he lathers himself in toxins, and then he fights you. But he's our first creature that fights in ink that is in an Octarian machine and is not an Inkling or an Octoling, which I thought was really cool to see. Because I know people have been speculating about that for a while, that's even possible. I think it's very important for them to establish that in the games, rather than some external lore to actually prove, like, yes, creatures that aren't Inklings and Octolings can play with the ink mechanics of the game. Because they've talked about in past, like, I think like three different drummers in 3 different bands come together to play Rainmaker, like ranked Rainmaker mode in Splatoon's lore. So it's cool to see it in the game now. Like there's actually a creature that can fight against you in the game that isn't an Inkling or Octoling or an Octarian machine. Okay, that about covers it for all the major characters of the game. I don't think we missed anybody except for one character, which we'll go over later. We're going to go into the gameplay now. So this is going to be a short area because we're really only here to discuss the story of the game. So my notes here say, the prologue was a parody of Splatoon 2's critiques, which we already went over. So, onto the first topic, cleaning Alterna. How'd you feel about it? Because, to me, it felt weird. Kind of like, you clean it, and then at a certain point in the game, it's just kind of done, That just felt weird to me. Maybe it's just a me thing, but it felt odd, because they put so much emphasis on you being able to clean Alterna and save it from this fuzzy force. And then at a certain point in the game, it's just all gone. And it's never incorporated in the levels, too, which I thought was really odd.
Wait, so it's like so the way I played the story mode was before I finished each area, I cleaned the entire island I was on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like, was it like if you still had ooze and then you beat the game, was it just gone then?
No. You still have to go and clean it. It's just that I found it odd that you could just clean everything at some point. Like it's not like, I don't know. Maybe this is okay. Now it's starting to sound a little less odd now I'm saying it out loud, but I don't know. It just
I don't know. It is a little odd because like it's a lot of it, like for the most part, it's tied to just exploration because it's like, oh well, you don't know what's underneath this piece of ooze or whatever. It could be a treasure for your locker. It could be music. It could be just nothing. So it's like, I don't know, it didn't really feel like, it felt like cleaning it wasn't like, didn't feel like any urgency to it. It just felt like, oh, if you want to get the things, then clean it. Also, just to get rid of hazards. But that's all. I'm not sure how to describe it. But
Me too. It's bizarre. It's like a world hazard that doesn't do anything. It's not present in any of the levels except for one of the final areas of one of the final sequences. Not even the entire final sequence. Just one level of the final sequence has fuzzy ooze, and that's the only time it is a hazard that actually has some kind of mechanic or not mechanic but challenge to it. Because otherwise, it's just like the Octo expansion. You pay money to go in certain levels. And in this case, you pay eggs to clear out the ooze, and then you get to the level, or I guess in this case, you can also get some items on the side. It's just kind of odd that it's never present in any of the levels, like at all. But it's
yeah,
supposed to be this like really scary force.
it almost felt like they designed the overworld first, and then the levels, and then like they had like a shift in like direction, and then they designed the levels, or vice versa. They did the levels first, and then afterwards they, oh wait, we can do the fuzzy ooze thing, and they just didn't bother putting it in the actual levels and only did it in the over. I don't know. It is, yeah, that is weird that it's literally never a force in any of the levels except for that like final level. I didn't really pay attention to it that much, but like, aren't like most of the enemies in the campaign supposed to be fuzzy?
All of them. All of them are fuzzy. Even the Octolings, which we'll go over soon because there's a huge plot hole with the Octolings being able to turn fuzzy. But yes, every single enemy is a fuzzy version of themselves, except for like the
Yeah,
Octo Stamps.
so that makes even less sense because it's like all these enemies are fuzzy, but there's no fuzzy ooze anywhere. Huh?
They got like
It
fuzzy
also
ink or something like that. I don't get how that works at all.
it also felt really weird because like aside from what you said about the Octolings, it's like how did they even get like that, and why did they get like that, and like I don't know, like compared to like what happens to like you as a player, it just doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, you just go wee and you fall down and you die. But how the fuck did he turn all these people into fuzzy versions
Yeah,
of
and
themselves?
why? Like they aren't spreading it. They aren't like they're just they just kind of are there. And why are the Octarians even there to begin with?
Yeah, how did he get them to there if he did steal them? It's like very, very, very odd how it's just kind of like I feel like they designed the mechanic first and didn't really think
Yeah,
of the
like
story
why are they
implications.
fighting with the villain? Like they have no reason to. If anything, they should be teaming up like with you to get revenge or whatever for doing that to him. It's like
That whole plot beat is just never explained.
yeah, that part of the story definitely felt like shoehorned in. The actual like main plot of this whole story as a whole didn't like just kind of felt like disconnected and like not cohesive. It just kind of felt like
Hold on to those thoughts because when we get to Mr. Grizz, I'm gonna go more in depth to it. But
okay.
yeah, it's just that fuzzy was just kind of there as a gameplay mechanic, and it has a story purpose, but it's not really cohesive. Ice physics. They're used in the third island, and that's it. Which is, I thought it was really weird that they implemented ice physics, but they only used it in one area, in an overworld area. Not even the escape sequence or like the rocket climbing sequence. It's just that one area has ice physics, and they say like watch out for them. You can walk around it, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's just odd, That was just odd.
Yeah, I guess it was them trying to either reinforce the whole like cold wintry atmosphere, or they were trying to make the ooze
Oh,
a bit more threatening, or
that's a good
both, or
point.
something. I don't know. Like probably both,
Mm-hmm.
but that my initial thought when I ran into the ice physics was like, oh, they're probably trying to make the ooze a bit more dangerous because like, oh, like you could slide into it because you know, I could see how as soon as I got to the ice and saw there was ooze on the ice, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see a lot of players like slipping into this and like dying question mark. You just kind of like respawn, so it's like I don't know.
Yeah, they don't explain how you. I don't want to go too far into the whole like. They don't explain this, don't explain that, because I'll just kill the vibe. But yeah, yeah. I understand what you mean.
Reminds me of the Octo expansion thing where it's like I remember one point developers or something said like, oh yeah, during the escape sequence in a Octo expansion, if you die, like
No
Agent
kettles,
actually
that's it.
dies. Yeah. So it almost makes me wonder if that's the same thing that happens when you hit the ooze.
The other characters
Sort of.
comment on it though, so I don't know. Like, they'll specifically comment like, "Oh yeah, you fell in the ooze. Be careful." Lack of octoling presence. I mentioned this because unlike other Splatoon games, where there's always like every world has an octoling level where you fight the octolings with their octoling theme. They're just not here. The octolings are just missing for the most of the game. There's
Until Nintendo tries to give us PTSD at the end.
Yeah, they're there in after Alterna. They're there, and there's like one level that's like, "Did bet you missed us?" Where it's like a misty area and there's octolings everywhere. But they're just missing like throughout most of the campaign, which is really weird. They barely show up. They show up like 3 times. Where the fuck are the octolings? Nothing much to say there. Just where are they?
Part of me honestly wonders if that was intentional, because, like, the whole, like, Splatoon 3 obviously is after, like, Splatoon 1 and 2, and so, like, maybe, like, more of the Octolings have, like, maybe they're trying to insinuate, like, oh, there's not as many Octolings anymore because they've all converted, or most of them have converted. Like, hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm giving the devs too much credit. I probably am with all the other stuff we've mentioned already.
Might
But
as
I don't
well give
know.
them some credit. Why not?
Sometimes they think of stuff like this, and other times they're just like, why is there fuzzy use? We don't know.
Sometimes I think of good stuff. Sometimes I think of bad stuff. Or sometimes they don't get time to fulfill their ideas. I would say another weird level: painting the Moai statue. That was another weird level.
Octo expansion finale 2.0.
Painted
No stakes.
a big ass face. It had a whole face going on. He's like,
paint everyone's Splatoon locker.
Yeah. It's the fucking music they play. I can't do throat singing. Sorry, everyone. If you're expecting to hear some Blue the Hedgehog throat singing, you're just gonna get some of that. There was quite a few accuracy levels where you had to, like, ride on the rails and hit switches and hit balloons. I loved those. Those are probably my favorite levels in this story mode, because a lot of levels in my mind weren't that challenging.
Meanwhile, every one of those levels made me go like, oh, god damn it, not one of these levels. Because I still had fucking Octo expansion PTSD.
I love them. I'm pretty much all of them. I use the hardest weapon. I think on the rails one, I used the bamboozler. On the one where they throw like targets at you, I used I think I used dualies. That wasn't that hard. But on the one where you're on the huge rail and it's like there's very few times, like if you miss it you die, I used the tri-stringer, the one they recommend you. They should not have recommended you that one. That was the hardest one to use. I don't know why I say like try the tri-stringer. It's gonna be easy. No, it's fucking not. It's the hardest one.
Try it and kill yourself afterwards.
Pretty much. You end up killing yourself a million times with that thing.
Bang, bang, bing.
Oh yeah, the music. We're gonna talk about that next. Alterna's depressing OST, often having hi-fi audio or droning tones, with light usage of distorted vocals. Almost all instruments almost all instruments used are metallic, though usually each song has one or two instruments made of more natural materials somewhere. It reminded me of Shin Megami Tensei, and it feels like this is like the last music of humanity. Humanity that has gone so far advanced that they don't use normal instruments anymore, but that's kind of bad. We're so far removed from what we know that it's just like you're hearing metallic noise when you're playing the game at all times. Just like all this, and it's like, what? Take that off. Take it off. Anyways, where were we? Yeah, it's horror. It's really sad. Like the overall music is really fucking sad. I swear to God. So I would listen and be like, damn, this shit is like serious as fuck. You know, this shit is like really depressing. And then shut up, hang on, let me finish.
I've been so far away.
Your phone away. Shut up your ugly ass. That's right. Shut up your ugly ass. So yeah, we get this horrible depressive music that just makes you feel bad, and then we get to the levels and we get such goofy ass music in the levels, or like exciting high intensity music. It's still metallic. It still has influences of Turquoise October in every song. I wrote my notes here, Ben, and a lot of dubstep. But what I think is interesting is that almost all the songs have some kind of echoing element to it. You know, as if you're not in a level, you're in a place that was once used, which makes sense. That's what Alterna is. I think that's a cool detail. That every song has just this echoing quality to it. You can kind of hear it if you listen really close. You can hear like there's nobody there except for you. That was probably honestly the music's probably my favorite part of the whole story mode. I love the music. I know it's a bold claim to make, but I'm not lying. I really did enjoy the music like a lot. I could feel you going, don't play it. You're responsible. What? No.
I can't.
Alright, we're gonna talk about some more deeper lore. So if you for some reason haven't left, you know we mentioned all these characters and shit, and you don't want to somehow be spoiled by the external special lore stuff that you get in the game, now's your chance to leave. Okay, we're gonna talk about the scrolls now. I have scrolls numbered here between which ones I want to do and what they have inside. So we're not gonna go in the order of the game. We're just gonna go what order I have here. Alright, scroll number 3 and 4 together. Talks about Splatsville, Anarchy Alleyway being the hottest spot in Splatsville, which is where the game takes place for multiplayer and stuff. And the fashion sense in general in the world has become more chaotic. I like that they explain that because it's just why Embers and that other brand I can't think of that this has mixed to match clothing, Barazushi, have become so popular recently in the game while they weren't around for Splatoon 2 because you know chaotic fashion wasn't as popular. Though it does make me wonder what gear we would have gotten if Marina had won. What kind of quote-unquote orderly gear would have looked like. Like normal fashion, I guess. Orderly normal fashion is odd of the sentence that it is to say. Let's see. Next second scrolls I want to talk about here. 1, 5, and 16. 1. Things are different in the Splatlands compared to Inkopolis. It's Octoling territory. That's where we are. Or, I guess that's wrong. We're in the wasteland. We're in the desert. Number 5. People are quicker to proving themselves through a violent interaction rather than talking it out. 16 shows that the sunshine in the area can cause massive changes to crustaceans. I guess all these together go to show how different the Splatlands are to Inkopolis. You know, people here are rough. They're here to rumble. They got thick hides and even thicker lips because they be cursing. You know damn well if this wasn't an E for everyone game, they'd be going fuck every 5 seconds in this game. Seriously. Can you imagine a world where Fry doesn't curse, where Shiver doesn't curse? Even in the game, Fry's like, what the fuck, you know? She'd be swearing up a storm in this hole, man.
Still not as powerful as Pearl cussing.
Oh yeah, Pearl got some unairable language, which I love that there's like a whole like thing about like how Pearl and Marine had this concert that went crazy one night. Not this video though, not this video. A lot of things not this video, but that's not this video. Alright, number 2. Splatlands were almost flooded, but Deep Cuts icons appeared and saved them. I found out that Deep Cuts those are actually their ancestors from a long time ago that helped save the Splatlands, and they're just part of that. They're descendants of those people who helped save the Splatlands in that time period that scroll number 2 shows. Number 9. Deep Cut is popular with the locals. Number 10. This one appears to be narrated by Shiver. A story of her slicing something, I believe the sharks around her, and has classic Japanese art depicting her with a sword and sharks. 11 is written as an analysis on the Onaga clan. Fry is depicted dancing to control her eels. And number 12, Big Man representing the Mana clan's morning rituals. Completely different from the other two, as he's relaxing with bread, wine, and other food. Which again shows how out of his element Big Man is. You know, the other two are warriors, or, you know, they have ancient techniques. Big Man's just living his best life. having a nice meal for his like secret scroll, sunken scroll. I mean. Oh, another thing. Everyone loves the big man scroll. I've seen everybody's locker. He's everywhere. Number 19 and 20 I like because they talk about the old characters. 19 is a document promoting Captain to their status as the leader of the new Squid Beak Splatoon. And number 20 is Mary's podcast is still going strong, and her relationship with Callie has never been better. It makes me happy that they didn't just, forget about all those extra details they've shown us with Callie having or with Marie having a podcast, and Agent 3 being, well, the captain now. Number 21, a dried real squid. No idea who's narrating it, but they seem to be confused as the reason why to be treated as such. What the heck? Why did they put that in the game? It's a corpse. It's an actual corpse. It's not a skeleton. I mean, it's a mummified corpse.
I like that they put it in there because that's where Inklings and Octolings came from, just real world squids. We've heard a little bit about like Inkling and Octoling like origins.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, so I'll say it really quick right here. Inklings and Octolings, they eat squid and octopus like on the regular. Like, it's not weird to them, because to them it's like it's an unevolved species. It's just like normal fish for us. So next time you all look at that whole like squid versus octopus Splatfest and go, oh, it's a race war. One, yeah, it kind of is. And two, they're also talking about like eating. I think from what I understand, they're talking about eating actual squids and octopuses from the sea.
Well, Octolings still won the popularity vote, so yay.
But they lost, so they're not as cool. So that sucks.
Yes, they are.
If they won, they would be as cool, but they didn't.
No.
I mean, that's just how it is.
No, it's not.
That's how Splatfest law works.
No,
She's in denial, y'all. Just let her have her way. It's like a crazy old grandma. Like, that's great, grandma. Let's get you to the hospital. Number 6, the designer of the tower. It's cool to see a 3D model of a character not present in the actual game. I also wonder if that's like the guy running the shop, the one that the general shop, because he seems so serious about his tower that he could also be a really big weirdo off the record. Maybe I think that'd be really funny. All right, number 23, Little Judd's intention to take down Judd. Nothing new, but a reaffirmation of what external lore said about Little Judd's inferiority complex. I must have been tired writing that inferiority, y'all. And number 22 is what Off the Hook is up to at the time with their new band, Damp Socks, featuring Off the Hook. I love their new music. Have you heard it in the game? Okay, you've heard it in the game. That's a dumbass. That was a stupid fucking question. But what do you think about their new songs?
It's very good.
You okay?
I don't know how to recover. I'm very confused by myself.
She's a little frazzled, y'all, from how many bloopers we just had.
A little frazzled from Little Judd's intentions.
Alright, this one makes me a little sad. Number 8, how Small Fry can end up abandoned and starving from their family, which changes their life course entirely. Salmonoid development is tied to their spawning grounds. This implies that Agent 3 found Little Buddy after they were abandoned, rather than abducting them from Salmon Run territory. That shit made me almost cry the first time I saw it. Like, I felt so heartbroken for Little Buddy, because you see a Salmonoid like super hungry, and it's like, food. You can see him there. Oh my god, my heart fell into pieces. At that point, when I got that,
what was his last resort?
No, but for real, I was I already loved Little Buddy at that point. But when I saw that, it was ride or die for Little Buddy. For me, like, Little Buddy's now like one of my favorite characters, because I feel so bad for him. I love Little Buddy. Shout out from the rooftops. I love Little Buddy! Oh my god, I was heart-wrenched to think that Little Buddy was out there starving at some point, just hungry. Just all I could think about is just eating, because he was so hungry. Oh my god, I know he looks a little silly, but I couldn't help it. I love Little Buddy now. I'm a Little Buddy stan, as I say. That's why I have that in my locker. I have like a little picture of Little Buddy and like a little crown on him, and that I like to imagine my character is constantly like researching like small fry developments just to keep their Little Buddy like in healthy shape and happy and all that, just to give them the premium Little Buddy experience. That's a funny sentence. The premium Little Buddy experience. It still makes me upset to think about Little Buddy could have been hungry at one point, just alone in the world and very hungry and very probably unhappy. Number 24 is the Marigold's IDs. guess? I don't know how to describe it other than her IDs. There's like a ton of IDs of her, of different identities, of different names, like of different ethnicities. Like one's like a Chinese name, one's like an American name, one's like a Japanese name, I think. What the fuck is up with that?
She's a criminal.
She has 3 different identities. What's up with, like, no, seriously, like, is she like an experiment? Is she like I don't know. I really don't know what it's about. It's so weird to me to think that she just has multiple identities, and she's like this nice little lunch lady to you, but to me, or not to me, but she's a nice little lunch lady to the player, but in reality, she's like a freak. There's something sussy about her. Something suspect. She's like a fucking criminal. Just walking.
Vote kick.
What?
Vote kick her out.
Oh, clutch your kick. Vote kick. Real weird.
Vote to kick.
God, that one fucked me up. That one caught me completely off guard because we go from like, all right, they're winding down. Then we go from Little Judd, you know, reading information about Little Judd to fucking like a conspiracy theory for the last sunken scroll. What the fuck? Literally, why is it? Why is that the last sunken scroll? What a bizarre choice for our last sunken scroll.
She's gonna be the villain of the next game.
Might be part of the expansion. You never know. All right. Next up, the Alterna logs. Ooh, when things got spicy with the lore. Spicy! Alright, we're going to start with, of course, log number 1 here. Recapping what happened to the humans after the 5 world wars. The ones who found the crater could live off the nearby sea life as the marine world took over outside due to rising sea levels. Alterna log number 2. Alterna is led by scientists. First things first, making the ecosystem sustainable. They make 3D recreations of art they missed. Ben noise? I wrote down bed noise. And created Orca to record their tenure at Alterna. Number 3. A single scientist figures out how to make crystals from the bodily fluids of squids. These crystals respond to the electric signals in the mind, allowing the presence of thought to be displayed visually. After 25 years, the crystals adorn Alterna's structure, displaying society as it used to be. Not a utopia, but one based upon nostalgia. I'll take a moment here before going to the next Alterna log to point out that in Alterna log number 3, the final image is the humans being around looking at the walls, and it looks like a park. It looks like a forest of some sort. When we reach Alterna, it's clouds, and I'll get to that in a point. Hold that thought in your head, everybody. Number 4. The scientists of earlier eventually become the seniors of their societies. The new generation wanted to prove themselves and quote-unquote escape Alterna to see the real world. While the elders warned them of pursuing this idea, the younger scientists made a rocket to launch. It failed on its first launch. The energy from the rocket's boosters overloaded the liquid crystals adorning the walls, destroying Alterna's walls and killing the last humans. Now, God. That's the noise when they died. Oh man, we're dead now. Oh shucks.
When she finds that scroll.
Wait, did you actually make that noise when you found that scroll? Did you feel bad?
Well, yeah, I didn't make that noise, but yeah, I felt bad. It's like, oh man.
That's the way the humans go out, not with a bang, but with a pretty pathetic whimper.
No, they go out with fucking screams, man.
Yeah. I wonder if it was on.
Scary.
I wonder if that was on New Year because the Octo expansion has the boss of it has like all these crazy screams that come out when you make the fangs together. It's just screaming, and it's like I wonder if that was somehow related to the failed rocket launch. Maybe.
Probably because like again, it said like the crystals like store memories and like are able to like replay them or whatever. So it's like they probably like. The last things they got were like the last things they heard were fucking screams of the damned.
Shouldn't have played with fire. Alterna log number 5. The sea creatures in Alterna absorb the crystals, which contain humanity's feelings and DNA. These fresh feelings brought the sea life desires to return to the surface, causing rapid evolution. They grew their in-game abilities and eventually lost their abilities to be in the water. Eventually, they found the tunnels humans used to try and survive the apocalypse and started working towards living on the surface. Number 6. Ascending from Alterna, these fish life took over the world. Splatlands in Alterna became the land of fresh beginnings. Basically kind of like where Jesus came from, or some kind of like a place of faith. Culture returned to the world, rather than being a ravaged rock. Squids and octopuses especially grew to be distinct with the fresh vibes. 5,000 years later, a squid with numerous revelations appears in the Splatlands, the progenitor of the ink. There's a lot to take in there. Firstly, the crystals could be absorbed. Secondly, Jesus comes around. Squid Jesus exists.
Squid Jesus.
Squid Jesus pops off. I just said that. Squid Jesus
drops a bun.
He drops a bang, bang,
That's the
bing.
fattest of buns.
He becomes literally they meet Jesus and they say, "Yo, what's up, Jesus?" You know, they meet him. They write him.
What's up, Jesus? Like bun.
Okay, but for real, back on topic here. The squids, they take in the crystals, and those crystals aren't just, you know, something that shows off what humanity wants. It's like, it basically keeps our souls inside of it. And that's what causes extremely impossible levels of evolution to happen in the game. Because that always bothered me in Splatoon. This shit makes no sense. 12,000 years is not enough time for squids to become inklings. It would not make any sense. It would take longer than that. It would take a lot longer than that. But thankfully, they're like, okay, basically magic crystals make inklings possible. And I'm very glad they explained that, because it was bothering me that they just never explained the fact that inklings, oh, they evolved over 12,000 years. That's it. That's it. Inklings come out maybe like 50,000 years. Not just 12. And that's stretching it. I want to know of evolution at least. Because I don't even know if we as humans are even going to see anything like truly evolutionize in the time we're around compared to what we see them as, like what we see right now. Like, I don't think we're going to see mosquitoes grow like hands or anything like that, you know? Did you not like that sentence?
No, why bug? Why?
Hey, chill. The fact that the reason why these squids wanted to get the fuck out of Alterna and get out is because they want to be fresh and cool is really funny too. Like, it always comes down to being cool. Like, oh, why did you meet Jesus? It would be cool, you know? It'd be kind of cool if I met Jesus. Big Jeezy.
Be pretty pog.
Literally. Like, it'd be poggers, dude. I met God. Pog.
Oh god, just popped off and went Ben.
You went Ben. Here's that Ben Bing.
He's the biggest Ben to ever exist.
What I wanted to point out, and I almost forgot this, y'all. It took me a little while to think about this, is when we reach Alterna, if these crystals really keep our human thoughts in, when we get there, that park image I talked about in Alterna log number 3 is replaced with a sky. And you know, the only people there are the new Squid Beak Splatoon, Deep Cut, and Mr. Grizz. So that makes me think that during humanity's last moments, like during their little last like seconds on the Earth, they thought of heaven, and that's why everything's clouds, you know? Because in Alterna log number 3, we see a park. They have like a forest. There's ground in the Alterna crystals on the wall. So I don't know. I don't have much to say about that, other than people were literally seeing their whole world fall apart. The last thing they thought about was going to heaven. Is that greedy? Is that expected? Is that a way of coping? I don't got an answer for that. That's my theory as to why everything's clouds, and it's kind of sad, really. You know, how many kids are there? Do kids even know what heaven is? What the clouds are? I guess they do. I don't know. It's kind of sad that the last thing we see, it's almost like a paused image of what humanity's very final thought was. Heaven. Not because I would have expected like just fire, you know, just like fire and hell and just burning and black and red and just blood. But everyone came together and just thought of heaven before they all, you know, got crushed or, you know, got lost in the debris if they made it out alive. Just something to think about. I wonder if
probably what they hope to go to. I mean, I would.
I just wonder if Splatoon's story was real, what would actually show up there? Would it be the same thing? Would it be something different? I don't know. You know, this is all in a game where we have fucking bang bang bing as one of the songs. Talking about heaven philosophy here in our fucking my YouTube channel today. I'll come back to the last Alterna log after the boss fight, but now we're gonna describe the general plot of the game because we've kind of ignored that the whole time. Alright, so here we go. The plot of Splatoon 3. I'm going to go on a long rant here. In case you want to say anything, just cut me off. After landing in Alterna, the new Squidbeak Splatoon further employs Agent 3 to help them. After killing some of the Orca tests, they run into Deep Cut, who claim Alterna as their looting area. As the new Squidbeak Splatoon explores Alterna, they fight Deep Cut, get interrupted by radio broadcasts of Cuttlefish and Mr. Grizz arguing. More of a one-way argument with a very confused Cuttlefish. Back on track of the actual player progression, Agent 3 fights all three of Deep Cut and steals the treasures. The new Squidbeak Splatoon then assemble the treasure into hedge clippers, I guess. Captain uses a special and sprains their tentacle, cutting the rest of the fuzzy ooze which is around the rocket so they can investigate Cuttlefish's location, which is supposedly at the rocket at this point. Okay, taking a break from the very short plot summary, which is extremely short. We're going to take a break to talk about the Ascension sequence. Entrance, no weapons. You have to get through it with only your little buddy. Little buddy. The hangar is a power trip with nearly every special in the game. Honestly, I forgot about it before I did the research for this video. The lifter is a desperate attempt to catch up Mr. Grizz. And then there's the rocket launch, where I think you have to use the zipcaster. Speaking of Mr. Grizz / the conclusion of the game. Mr. Grizz is a mysterious entity that refuses to listen or explain, and would rather get work done. Taking advantage of Craig's brain, I don't know how that happens, what happens, or why he needs it, they don't explain. He sets up a rocket of fuzzy ooze to send into space, and crash into Earth, consuming the whole planet in fuzzy ooze. His backstory is further covered in a secret log which we'll go over later, but let's continue talking about the story before we move on to that. Mr. Grizz gets away with dehydrating Craig and launching the ship using the golden eggs from Salmon Run, Splatoon 2. A tear from the captain revives Craig, not getting used to calling him Craig, and the combined powers of Eels, a Megalodon, and Big Man send Agent 3 to space. I don't know what he does. Using giant golden eggs and our little buddy to stop Grizz, the ship then ends up kinda exploding, and DJ Octavio saves you. Small fry becomes huge fry as the Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because Grizz like slams down on it, because he's like, hangy.
Oh yeah, that's what happens. I always think it explodes because you go flying.
Well, you go flying, because like you're attacking Grizz, and he's like, alright, fuck you, and then he slams down on the rocket, it explodes, and then you're like, wee!
Okay, thank you for your play-by-play. Wee!
Wee!
DJ Octavia saves you, Small Fry becomes Huge Fry as the Calamari Incantation 3 mix begins, and all marine life goes into Small Fry, of all things. Controlling Octavio, and in tandem with Agent 3, which is awesome, by the way. Our heroes restore the last fuzzballs on Grizz and defeat him. After the conclusion in the bonus secret level, the bonus log.exe is unlocked, going over Mr. Grizz's backstory. Arc Polaris, another ship, tried to escape Earth, far before Alterna was even a thing. As it reached the edge of the solar system, it was damaged, and had to return to Earth. It couldn't attempt a landing, and drifted for 10,000 years before crashing, slaughtering everyone and every animal inside, except Bear number 3. This bear was experimented on, consciously dreaming for 12,000 years. This apparently superpowered the bear's intelligence? When the bear woke up, it was horrified to realize it was back on Earth. Despite desperate to find mammals, the bear used the Arc Polaris as navigational gear to discover Alterna. Using knowledge gained from dreaming, he repairs Alterna's facilities and figures out that crystal debris can make fuzzy ooze when compounded into his fur. This fuzzy ooze turns anyone into a... That's a lot of quotation marks. Mammal. Stockpiling it into Alterna's rocket that failed to actually launch. He needed thousands of golden eggs to launch the rocket. Why? He just needed it. Grizzco and the student named Mr. Grizz are quickly made afterward. Why did I write this down? And some fire-ass beats were introduced to the players of Splatoon 2 LOL. Yeah, that's Mr. Grizz's backstory. Alright, I'm going to talk about some of my problems with him. Originally I had issues with Mr. Grizz being a bear, since I felt like it would conflict with Judd being the last mammal. I'm not bothered too much about it now, since he had chosen to experiment on himself of his own choice and remove the bear part of himself, much like the humans would disrespect the wonderful nature and life that the Earth had provided them. So it can be seen kind of as an analogy to that. Judd was made eternal outside of his own choice, and Little Judd's creation was a byproduct of human influence, so I don't mind Little Judd at all. It just felt odd that the last true mammal being Judd, who was wonderful, is now being upstaged by Mr. Grizz being an actual grizzly bear. I found that dumb initially. And personally, I would have done it differently. I would have had like Mr. Grizz be a dead bear survived by the fuzzy ooze, or maybe some kind of ink monster took the appearance of a bear. But regardless, I'm fine with him being a bear now. I don't think it was very cool. I think it could have been done better. I think other choices would have been cooler. But yes, he's a bear. I'm okay with it. As not okay as I sound with it, I am okay with it.
We got a cute teddy bear hat too, yeah.
Yeah, that was the best part. Okay. The real issues with Mr. Grizz come from plot holes with his intellect considered and his backstory lacking in information. Grizz's scheme makes no sense from what is shown in game, and would have led to a Salmonoid uprising. 1. Fuzzy... Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself, I'm so heated. Fuzzy ooze would have turned all living things into unfeeling fuzzballs. Okay. Salmonoids would have been fine. They live underwater. So number 1, they don't turn into fuzz, and clearly don't care, as Asuna said earlier. Number 2, they live underwater. Asuna said they were gay. I put that in my notes, I don't know why. It's 2 a.m. This also means the deep sea...
6 a.m. now.
This also means the deep sea metro would have been fine as well. Mr. Grizz would have killed his army of Inklings and Octolings, and if anything, they become food for Salmonoids, because the Salmonoids could have just walked on surface and started eating them, because they can't feel anything. They wouldn't feel pain. They would just be... all the Inklings and Octolings would have seen is just seeing themselves get eaten alive, which is a horrible thought. Okay, it's a really horrible thought, actually. I think about it for 1 second. You see your toes being eaten up, like they start biting your toes and eating them. Your hands and your feet and everything. The deep sea metro is full of people, and they would have been fine as well. Birds are all turned into fuzzballs. People are turned into fuzzballs. Everything on the surface is turned to a fuzzball. Salmonoids don't get affected by this for whatever reason, as we see in the story mode, because you can throw small fry on the fuzz and he's fine. So, in summary, Mr. Grizz has slaughtered his own army and empowered the Salmonoids that walk around and kill everything. What the heck was he expecting to happen? No, like, does anybody know? Put a comment below. What do you think, Asuna?
Bear.
Not... Okay. I also dislike that they don't explain how Grizzco got started. In Inkling Society, you know, as dumb as it can be sometimes, they would have noticed that he is a fucking bear. I haven't cursed once.
What's a bear?
I wouldn't have minded if it was even explained in a very comedic way. It just never explained how Grizzco is. Like, how did they start it?
Very, very, very buff Inkling.
Yeah, no, fuck, that's bullshit. No, but and I know we're all joking around and stuff, but that genuinely does feel like a missed opportunity. Like, why don't they explain how Grizzco could have even gotten started in Inkling Society? That feels like a huge plot point that kind of missed. Because I think correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody in the comments knows better, but all we know about Grizzco is that I think at one point the authorities tried to get some information on them, and Mr. Grizz complied, telling them to go to a certain place to go to the main building, and it was just a warehouse. You know, so that was sketchy. And not much was pursued from there. So I want to know how that initial... How did the company start? How did Mr. Grizz get the pseudonym? How did he actually get any of this started? It's never explained. This was the time to explain it. This is Mr. Grizz's shining moment, you know? But it's dropped, and it falls apart, unfortunately. Speaking of, I'll also take a quick opportunity to ask why kettles exist in Alterna for levels with levels inside. Like, I know why they're there, because you need a video game to actually play. But there's no way the humans would have used it. Mr. Grizz couldn't have set it up in all that time. So, like, why are there kettles? That's another thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, conclusion. Other than Grizz and all his plot holes, I undoubtedly loved the story. Deepco is thankfully given a lot of character through it. A correction from how Offduck was treated in Splatoon 2 story mode. Seeing Callie and Marie again for one last adventure was super fun, and the effects of this journey showing on poor Cuttlefish help gives it weight. Splatsville culture was shown through our protagonist and little buddy as they stand out from previous agents while still standing as a self-insert. They wouldn't have worked in Splatoon 1 and 2. Deep cut as well. Alterna was mystical and the ending boss fight was out of this world. Both for good and bad. I loved this story mode and felt it was worth being a Splatoon story. So what were your final thoughts on the story experience?
Story itself, not very memorable. Best parts were the environment, the music, and half the boss fights. For me, at least. Also, fuck after Alterna. Fuck it.
Alright, now we're done with the video. Let's go over some bonus stuff. Because why not? This is for all people. If you want to click off now, you can. We're just gonna go over some extra tidbits here. I want to explain about the story. You know, I wonder what the Japanese players thought of, like, all the English in the game, because you can hear countdowns and people talking over the radio and stuff about, like, you know, about a rocket ship. I wonder what the Japanese players thought when they heard that. You know, that I guess English was the last language that survived. The next thing, who the fuck made the tests? Like, I understand that these orcas seem to be conducting these tests before, you know, Inklings come around. But not only do these tests are stuck in the kettles, how the fuck does Orca know to splat the player, like, on the fail of test? Because what would it have done if a human failed? Like, oh, rip its head off or something? It plays like a little, like, oh, and then it kills you with, like, ink. So, how the fuck does any of that work?
And why couldn't we just dodge it? They like, pour it onto us.
That would be really cool, because at one point in the game, I had run out of ink, and I need to go over a rail, and it just killed me. But if I could have just, like, walked on the rail, that would have been really cool. You know, just try to run the whole time before it got on me.
At least with Octo expansion, they fucking strap a bomb to your back, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, it just here says after Alterna. Do you think that was, like, a worthy follow-up to Inner Agent 3 after Alterna?
Define worthy.
Like, do you think it was, like, an actually good challenge that actually tested all your skills? Like, Inner Agent 3 might have. Okay.
It tested more skills than the Agent 3 fight did.
Yeah. I feel like Agent 3's fight was a little more messier for people who aren't used to playing against other players. That's kind of like I like it more than the After Alterna.
Agent 3 is harder, but Alterna was like more in general. It was like, yeah, we're gonna test all your shits, all your skills.
They also give you infinite retries on each checkpoint. Thank goodness. If you had to do all in one go, I think that would have been actually making like a little bit.
Well, not infinite. I mean, you run out of money.
I guess for players who run out of money. But I mean, like at that point you have like 30,000 power eggs, give or take. You ain't gonna run out of money if you're off the Alterna already.
I don't exactly know, because I don't know, like, because I completed pretty much everything before I got to the end.
Yeah.
Whereas some players might just rush to the end and might not have much money.
I don't know if you can complete after Alterna unless you beat all the levels. So, well, I don't know. But either way, I think it'd be really hard to actually run out of money in after Alterna, as long as you have like a lot stockpiled, which you must, because you have to beat the game, and they give you a shit ton by the time you beat the game. I thought it was pretty good, but I feel like the first area was just testing your patience. That's the real challenge of the first area. Just like how many simple mistakes can you make? Then the second area is just like pure mechanical skill, spinning around and shooting those fucking targets. I hate the fact that they put a little bit extra targets at the end. That was so unnecessary, because it was very obvious and expected, and I got them all. I think I got them on my second or first try. That was dumb. The third area, the area everybody forgets, because who the fuck remembers the third area of after Alterna? Do you remember the first third area of after Alterna?
Yeah.
All right,
but I remember because it was easy.
Exactly, it's the one with like the octomissiles, right?
It's basically just like it was that whole like expanding platform.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like you shoot the platform and it grows and grows and grows.
Much easier than anything else.
Yeah, I remember, because I was like, honestly, I got so frustrated on the first part that I watched the video and like how much more I had to do afterwards. So I'm like, okay, second part it's rail shooter, third part it's basically just puzzle almost, and then fourth part is combat. So I'm like, okay, well, once I get past the second part, it should be pretty easy. So
I'm going to watch my delusional self play through that again, like, when I'm editing the Let's Play, because I'm probably like, oh my god, this is so fucking bad, Splatoon's so bad, because I'm tired while I'm doing it. It'll be fun to watch.
I was like, this game sucks, no one fucking tested it, fuck this game, man, I hate it.
And then there's like a little fight with Octolings at the end.
Which was easy, I got that at my first attempt.
Me too. I was like, there's the Asuna one, and the one with the dualies came up, and I just fucking splatted it like almost before I can even finish my sentence.
Meanwhile, I got the dually one last. Not on purpose, but it just happened.
Mirror match!
But yeah, first stage took me like, I don't know, probably like 50 tries. Maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. I always get the wrong answer on those, but second try took me like 5 attempts, maybe 10, and then third and fourth were just 1.
Yeah. Bizarre scaling, but yeah, it was really weird.
I mean, I prefer that kind of scaling where it's like hard at the beginning and then like after you get past that, it's like smooth sailing. But
It's like a test. It's like a fucking test. School test. Alright. Single player DLC with Off the Hook. DLC. Why did I say DLC twice? So, Off the Hook's gonna show up in the DLC. So I think we're gonna get another adventure with them. That's good because I don't really. Callie Marie's dynamic is cute. But I find Off the Hook's more interesting because they have a back and forth between them. That feels like really good close friends rather than family. And I'm looking forward to that. Especially if they bring damp socks with them, like their new bandmates, because I want to see models of weird creatures in the main story again. Kind of with Iso Padre. It'd be funny if their bandmates are totally normal people like, oh shit, what the fuck are we in for? Other than that, we
I'm
have no.
very. Go ahead.
Other than that, we have no idea what the DLC is gonna be about. Have you seen Marina and Pearl's new outfits? The teaser image for it.
Only in the sunken scroll.
Pearl's got this like weird like cyber. You know what? It's kind of funny. It's almost like an order outfit. She's got this like cyber like dress with like a big puffy white jacket that looks really clean. And then Marina's got like this. She's got her whole titties out. Titties are out. Chest is showing. She got this very energetic looking like suit with like a striped angular pattern. And she's got galaxy colored tips on her hair. It's almost like they swapped sides from their Splatfest 5 years ago or whatever.
You're not gonna like this. The first thing I thought of whenever I saw Marina's outfit was like talk show like TV host or like Michael Jackson or something.
Oh
with,
no,
like,
Michael
that
Jackson's a
coat.
great choice. He's a fucking legend. That's a good comparison, if anything. People will love that. I would love that. I would love to see that kind of influence.
Well, it's mainly just like the fact that she's got like darker colors inside and then like this super vibrant coat and pants
I love it.
that just pop out.
I love it. I'm so hyped for it. I really hope we get these outfits as like outfits for our Inklings and Octolings because I fucking love it. Their style
Possibly.
is so fresh. So fresh. Third race speculation. So, this game is obsessed with the number 3. If they don't do a third race, it will be the hugest missed opportunity of all time. What do you think the race is going to be? Because we have a couple options here. We have something new. Completely new. We have tofu. We have weird squid people. We have space people. Bunnies. And that's about... Oh, I mean, I guess we also have, like, manta rays and salmonoid. No, we fucking don't. We fucking don't have salmonoids. We don't have mantas. And we just have something completely new. So what do you think the new race... What do you think... If there's a new race, what do you think it's going to be?
Honestly, I have no clue because like with Splatoon 1, it was more obvious what the next race could be because there was only like one other predominant like player character like looking race, and that was the Octolings. And then Splatoon 2, they haven't really added any like, because the thing is, if there's another race, they have to have the same sort of like build and stature as Inklings and Octolings, because you know Nintendo ain't gonna do some shit where it's like Halo, where it's like, oh, you have the Spartans and they're like shorter and more like compact, and so they have like less health and everything, and then the elites are taller so they get hit easier, but then they have like more health or something. Like, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna want to have a race that's like the same size and
Right.
build,
Right.
so that way they can just like, it's more, it's not, they're not gonna want to do like some like model swap kind of thing. They're gonna want to be able to reuse assets. I mean, I know this is probably not what you intended with this conversation, but
Yeah, these are valid answers, and any answer is valid. My guess
So-
is they're probably going to introduce a race that has special skin tones. That's about all I can realistically guess, because there are Inklings and Octolings out there in the lore that have like blue skin, or like Seaside, for example, the new guy, the new band, their main Inkling has like gray skin. Some people thought he was a salmonoid, and people were like freaking out, like, "Oh my god, it's a salmonoid! Holy shit, salmonoid's confirmed!" No, it's just like Inkling with gray skin, dude. Don't worry, or don't be happy. Just normal Inkling with gray skin. That's my guess. That's what it's gonna be. Other than that, I'm really hoping for bunnies to come back and be cute because I like bunnies. I want them back. I like how they look. They just need a little bit of
Come back,
improvement.
I will like dedicate myself to destroying everyone I see. So
Another idea I have is like vampire squids. Those are an actual squid type. You know, they look distinct enough from inklings. They have these big ass ears, I guess, in the form of that, and also big vampire teeth. They could do. What would make you switch off of
I
Octoling? Here's a good
what?
question. What fish species would make you switch off of Octoling?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any. Hmm. It would all depend on how they look, if anything. Like, are they cute enough? Because I mean, that's my bottom line. That and the fact that I mean, it's gonna be hard for any race to top Octoling for me because thanks to Octo expansion, I have a personal attachment to the Octolings. Um, plus the fact that they're just fucking adorable. Lord knows what Nintendo would do, and even if I thought of like a animal that looks cute in real life, like my favorite my favorite sea creature in real life is a dolphin, but
Dolphinlings. Could you imagine? I don't
there's
think
no way. Because I mean,
sea mammals aren't around anymore, but I think dolphins are sea mammals. I could be wrong. You roast me in the comments if I am.
I think so.
But yeah, just a random thought. Dolphinlings.
But yeah, they wouldn't do that, and even if they did, they would look so vastly different from dolphins to where it's like it would be unrecognizable. So like, out of all the races we know of, the one I would want most to be like a character would be whatever Harmony is. I forgot what she is.
See an enemy. I have so many notes here, but I'm gonna say this. How did anything in the ending of the game work? It doesn't make any sense why Octarians are out there fighting you during the part where you're on the rocket ship. They would explode.
Oh,
They have to breathe. See, part of the reason why we breathe is because we need oxygen in our brains. So
yeah. How did Grizz fucking survive?
I guess I could be chalked up to the fuzzy ooze controlling them, maybe, and that's it. I don't know. I also find it funny that Small Fry can just go up in space and be okay with barely breathing anything, and be like, yeah, I'm fine. Because like that implies his brain is so tiny that the oxygen in outer space is good enough for him to stay alive with no repercussions
There
at
isn't
all.
even oxygen in outer space, though. I don't think
There is. It's very little, and that's why we need spacesuits to pump us full of oxygen, make sure we don't explode.
Or big man suits.
Big Man Suit. Big Man Suit at www.bigman.com. The main moral of the game being those who don't learn from mistakes are doomed. You know, humanity certainly didn't try to learn to listen to their elders 2 times. Died 2 times. Don't fight in wars, kids. Don't fight each other. Don't take advantage of the
Don't
environment.
drop nuclear bombs on Antarctica.
Oh, the misery! Every single country is my enemy.
Every single glacier is my enemy.
Spare the Eiffel Tower. And then, you know, Alterna, like, they didn't listen to their elders. And that was it. That was humanity's last straw, and they're like, fuck it. You know, you're all dead now. I don't care if y'all want to go to heaven. Y'all deserve to die. The credits sequence in Wave Goodbye, this song, I loved it. It was very calm. Compared to the previous credits where you're playing a wall, and there's like, usually like a chipper song or maybe a reflective song. Now, this one was like almost somber. And like the song says it feels like they're saying goodbye, you know. The Squid Sisters are saying like this is it, this is their last adventure.
Except it totally won't be, but
No, I did. At least this part of the saga with them is over. It might show up again later in DLC probably, but the roles will be reversed. Have you heard of the clone theory?
if you're talking about Lil Judd, yeah, but
Like how they're talking about, it's more about how Splatoon 3 is gonna be focused on clones, or the idea of cloning.
didn't know.
Okay, well that's mostly due to the last 2 Sunken Scrolls, one with Little Judd talking about how he's gonna kill Judd and he's upset about it. I mean, maybe he'll quote unquote maybe do it another day. The fact that the Marigold Lady is everywhere in Splatsville. Well, I can't find much besides the fact that Little Judd seems to be focusing on Big Judd again. He's getting all weird. There's clearly a lot of focus being put on Little Judd when there was barely anything put on him in Splatoon 2. In fact, they changed him up. Have him running Grizzco now. Have him with his own dialogue in the Table Turf game. And the Marigold Lady being freaking everywhere. So a lot of people think the DLC is going to be focused on clones, and the fact that cloning is a sci-fi concept, much like how the Octo expansion took a very sci-fi approach with the whole vaporwave thing, a very retro sci-fi approach. I hope to God whatever they do, it's not like you can play as a human now. We've cloned humans. Whatever they're gonna clone in the DLC, make it cool if they do that shit. And make it a cool ass DLC with cool ass enemies. Weird clone versions of player characters, maybe like idols. Could you imagine having to fight against Agent 3 again, but also Agent 4 and Agent 8 are there as other characters or something like that? The clones of them.
I'd make sad noises.
That would be your response? I'm gonna make some sad noises right now.
I'm gonna drop some sad ones.
Alright, well that's about everything we have to say about Splatoon 3's story mode. All the future stuff, all the past stuff, Splatsville itself. I am in love with this game. I love the aesthetic. Maybe one day I'll talk more about Splatsville's whole like environment thing going on, how much I love the maps are very different, how they feel different. But you know, we're here to just discuss the story, and that's about it. So, anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
I'm very tired.
It's 6:38 a.m. I need to edit this bitch with a whole bunch of visuals. In conclusion, this game's hype! Yeah!
Illusion 1.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Austin, where can we find you on the internet?
The depths of Discord.
Austin recently started making SFM art of her Octoling. Like literally today, she showed me one with my character too. So if you guys ever see on the internet, say I saw you
not
in that
commission me
video.
or I'll kill you.
She says now, but eventually she'll probably start doing commissions. Get that PayPal set up. Anyways, bye!
Bye.
Alright, moving on to Fry. The Inkling of Deep Cut. Based upon classical, princess-esque Indian beauty. She's much more consistent between her on and off camera appearance. No. She's much more consistent between her She is much more consistent between her oh my god. She is much more consistent between her on and off camera appearance. God damn, I said appearance again. Oh, dropped my controller. That's not part of the video. It's gonna be kept in anyway, because I don't feel like editing that out.
Because, like, realistically, mapping out a map, you know, like, you can see around you. Like, you can see what's at eye level. You can see, you know, what's beneath you a little bit. You know, you can see around you for a bit. But with the Splatoon 3 mapping system, it's like, it's almost like your character's blind when they're mapping it out. Like, oh, they're like mapping it out by like feel or something. So it's like you have to like walk over every inch of every spot on the map, and it's just so convoluted and weird. It's like, why do I have to literally walk to every corner of this map?
I slipped off that submarine getting that map done. The submarine, like the fourth
I
island.
did once too.
Wah! I heard my Rocket League was drowning. That's just
I was like, why do we have to, like, why? Why do we have to get so close to the edge? We can see where the fucking submarine ends. Just, like, be like, okay, yeah, it ends right here. Let me draw this out. No, I have to stand there.
I didn't even write that down. This is awesome. This is a whole awesome moment, everyone. This is all her, not me.
It just makes no sense. Like, why?
Oh, jeez.
Like, we're mapping out this place with like braille or whatever. Like, oh, we gotta like feel our way through this place. Like, what? I don't know how to describe it because it's just so convoluted. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you didn't map out this whole area. You didn't walk toward like the one corner of this small, tiny little island on the start. It's like, or like, whenever you came out of the tube from like the first island, you didn't walk to each corner on the sides, and
if y'all
so now you have no idea what's over there. Anything could be over there.
If y'all ever see my locker in game, now y'all know why I have the Alterna map in my locker. That shit took a little while. I'm proud of wasting some time on this.
Yeah.
I have to cut all that out now. Put it
No,
away.
leave it in. No, leave
I'm
it in.
cutting it out. I have to.
No.
Yes.
Funny.
It's funny, but it needs to be cut out of the video.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
This is why humans are dead.
Oh my god.
I had to get that shit on my soundboard so I don't have to play through my phone.
Bang, bang, bang. And like, oh, that's the canyon music.
Oh no, Mr. Krabs.
Ah! We gotta scream to like, ah! I'm dying. It's 5 a.m. everybody. Don't get mad. Number.
You can't just say number and then crack up, man. Maybe spit all over my Switch.
Ew!
Number. No.
Ah, jeez.
No. This is.
This is democracy, bitch. Get used
This
to it.
is Revo Manifest.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Okay, let's focus again. Calm down, we gotta focus. Goodness gracious. Number 23. Now we're laughing at
Why
anything.
did you say it that tone? Number 23.
I just said number 23 normally. What are you talking
You
about?
said it in the Chills voice. Number 23.
Number 23.
Big man footlet.
Ew. Don't speak for several days. Golly.
Last thing you'd want in your succulent Chinese meal is someone's
Foot
fucking
fungus.
ass.
As it turns out, that may be what you get. Mom, pick me up from the fucking store already. God,
Well, then it's my turn on the Xbox.
when will I get out of here? I've been trapped here for years.
Okay, let me out. Can you let me out?
Shut the fuck up.
Big bag me. Ooh, it's the 5 a.m. brain.
You gotta let me finish my sentences at least.
It's more fun this way.
No, it's more fun, but we're not getting this shit done. It's like forever.
It'll be a 50-minute long like story discussion, then uncut, completely uncut.
No thanks. Okay, so
Well, this is supposed to be the Blue Hedgehog channel where things are uncut because it's more authentic.
what? Go to bed.
Okay.
Good morning. It's time to wake up and get this goddamn video. Stop! For fuck's sake, calm down! God, it's like talking to a child in Adderall. Okay, calm down. Okay, back to it. Stop. Number 23. Little Judd's intention to... Calm down. Calm down. Stop. Number 23. Stop saying shit! Let me finish. Alright, for real. I think you're gonna say bed because I said for real. Okay.
I can't hear you.
Alright. Number 23. Oh my god. Get a fucking sense of maturity. Trying to get this shit done.
I don't know why.
Why are
I'm
you
just
crying?
I see your icon. I can't even hear you. I just saw your icon light up.
not
It made
funny.
me laugh.
It's
It
not
is.
funny. It's just
It's
I'm
not.
just talking.
It's not funny.
It's not. I'm just talking, man. When we go Budokai and then you laugh. Oh my god. Actual Shia LaBeouf over here.
Child LaBeouf.
Oh my fucking god. Okay. Number 23. Little Judd's intention to take that little God, why? It's not funny. It's really not. At this point.
Our little Judd's intentions will never know. He wants to kill people.
Okay, for real. Number 23. Little Judd's intentions to take down Judd. Nothing. Are you laughing at me just saying Little Judd's intentions?
No.
Okay, good. Little Judd's intention to take down Judd. Number 23. Little Judd's intention to take down Judd. Nothing new, but a reaffirmation. Why'd you squeak?
Why you no?
You would? I can't have that. I can't have that. I can't have that in the video. Good lord, this blooper video could be long as fuck. All from this one thing we just tried to say. Number 23, Little Judd, blah blah blah. Oh my! I mean, what is wrong with you? Do you need a blankie? Oh my god! I'm about to turn to Detroit Become Human, Detroit Become Human NPC and go, oh my god! Say it really weird, like that one president does. She's like, oh my god! The whole game is so weird.
I've heard of the high elves.
The whole game is so weird. You're talking, they're like, the grunts in that game are the funniest thing. It's like, can you guys just go? They're like.
I'm on meds.
Speaking of being on meds, are you ready for me to actually say this time? You have to burst out laughing, getting a headache. Okay, don't laugh, don't squeak. It's just me talking about numbers. While the elders warned them of, God damn it.
It was not very fun of you.
That was bing, 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 bing instead.
No, that was whatever that fucking song is.
Jeez. I'm just thinking, that's all. I need my thinking time. I need to put my thinking cap on. That's my thinking music. Hey, if it is, I don't mind. It's a pretty fire beat. I love the synths in the background of that song, low key. Like I'm not gonna front. I love that, like the fucking ding 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 ding. Like the synth in the background is so good on the keyboard. Oh yeah, Alterna was mystical, and the ending and bought. Alterna. Yeah, I know I'm dying. Jesus. Okay.
You fail this, you fucking die.
Jesus,
Sorry.
that was loud. What if? Fuck no.
What if they put Undertale as a playable character? Fucking Undertale long neck.
All right.
One.
I had to disconnect. I had to disconnect for comedic effect. That was for comedic effect.